Thank you, Shivani. Myself is Professor Harvinder Popli, and currently I am a director with the DPSRU. It's a Delhi Pharmaceutical Research and Sciences University. First, and I have spent my 2 decades in the industry, and also almost 1.5 decade with the academics. I think there are a lot of issues and challenges which today pharma has been facing, and through Global PHT we could see there are a lot of things which the Global PHT is trying to address. Be it is the pharma trends, we call it as the manufacturing, and it's also talking about the API. It's also talking about the drug discovery, and very interestingly also the AI in drug discovery at a global level. So I think it's a great platform because the people from overseas are also attending, and there's a lot of opportunity for the youngsters or academics who can be a part of it. But at the same time we have seen the government policies as also talking about the integrated medicines, also talking about the inclusive health, and also we have a policy of Ayushman Bharat. So it's not only the pharmaceuticals. So probably we need to understand that how this pharmaceutical and the healthcare is impacting the public health. Of course, yes. Technology, if you talk about, from the API, from the manufacturing, and the drug distributions, the regulations, the QA, every form requires the technology. And without technology, you cannot reach to the globe. So that is very, very important. And we have all seen, during COVID time that if there is no technology, you cannot reach. So the supply chains were impacted wherever there is automations. And the challenge is becoming more complex because earlier we were only dealing with the chemical moieties. Now we are talking about the biologicals, where the shelf life is also a concern. We are also concerned that whatever is being supplied, and if there is any manufacturing issue, if there is any regulation issues, the public is also very aware. It is not that something, what has been given to the public, basically everybody has been concerned about their health. So with the advancement of a technology, we can not only provide the good service, but also measure the access to the healthcare. And we all know, specifically when we talk about the India, the accessibility of healthcare is only to 30% of this population. So that is what I am telling, that the government has been trying through their policies that this healthcare is accessible to everyone, to all the B towns, to all wherever the human is there, and whosoever is in need of this technology. And I think it's the power of technology. During COVID, we had seen that the telemedicines, the concept, and when we see the telemedicines, and when we talk about the pharma, there is a lot of issues which is addressed, but there were a lot of issues which came up during COVID because we have no healthcare policies during that time. So it took a very a lot of what we can say is that the government take a lot of interesting issues so that this medicines can reach to all what has been needed, be it is the prescription, be it is in the diagnostic area. And similarly we have seen the development of vaccines, which used to take like 3 to 4 years, and we have seen in a record time how with the use of a technology, the development of the vaccines and also the approvals and the clinical trials, this is not possible without the technology, and also requires the harmonization of the regulations. So sitting over here, anyone who is in the US or EU, or if you want to make your drugs which is being available to all the countries, then also the technology which plays a very, very important role. That in the next decade or the next to next decade, we would see that the 50% of the drug moieties will be from the biological source. Chemicals, there is nothing, they will not going to extinct, because there is repurposing of the molecule, which is also been happening. There is a lot of learning with the advancement of technology, which we are seeing. There are molecules which we had almost forgotten, and we were doing repurposing. We found that they are still very, very relevant. And similarly, when we talk about the new diseases, when we talk about the drug targeting, and also the technologies like molecular docking, and finding out new pharmacophore, again the challenges are very different. When we talk about biologicals, it is not very easy to get the ANDA or a generic products. When the biologicals, the biosimilars, still we are not completely able to overcome the issues. But we had seen that in the diseases like cancer and all, there are a lot of molecules which is coming against the biological. Biologicals, is taking up the lead. We talk about, and they are almost replacing some of these chemical because of their efficacy and because of our better understanding of the biologicals. And there is also an era which is coming of the precision medicines. Now, the RT-PCRs and the genomes and genome sequencing, which was unheard of. During COVID, we had seen even a small child is knowing about what is RT-PCR. So that is the power of the technology. And with this, the power, of course, we will be able to better address the diseases in the future. I think it's a very important, being a part, because the industry is very vast, and there are so many verticals. If we talk about even the pharma industry, so pharma industry is no more just the making of the generic, but the biologicals, the drug, and plus the devices. So we have seen that the new regulations of devices also, and today we are addressing just 30% of these medical devices. And the another thing is that we have seen the lot of use of a drug plus device. For example, like if you have insulin with a pen, so that means pen, if it is regulatory approved, and then you have a new insulin molecule, then the insulin along with the pen, how it is going to deliver the basically products, and its stability, regulations, and many other kind of issues. So that is another area. And when we talk about pharmaceuticals, the clinical trials, pharmacovigilance, the safety, ADR reporting, its supply chain, and it's the storage, warehousing, quality control, QA, regulations. There are n number of the verticals which has been important. So I think in the times to come, warehousing, storage, and pharmacovigilance, ADR, we have just on the tip of iceberg. And I think inclusively we see that there is a lot of parallel industries, or a lot of which were there in isolations, and the global plants and all will be kind of a need. So I think this industry is going to grow, and it is going to become more and more refined. But coming back to your questions, that what field you should go in, it depends upon that where your interest is. And I think it's very important that they make the choices with their passions, because there is no dearth of it. Once you do a kind of a graduations, I think in a time to come, with the emergence of the course regulatum, we have found that they can do a pharmacy practice and can find out that which area they wanted to grow in. And we have seen a lot of integrations, maybe pharmaceutical students along with the medical science, engineering, and which will be required. So not just a one scale, but it's going to be a teamwork, and which is very important. It's a skill-based industry. So unless and until you have a skill, the plain graduations is not going to suffice.